good and happy. So today we are going to begin with the lesson number 3, that is sentences with objects. So let's begin with this lesson. In this lesson we are going to study about the sentences. So there are different ways of saying the same thing. बहुत different तरीके होते हैं एक चीज को कहने के. So I gave Priya a pen. I gave a pen to Priya. So हमने एक चीज को दो sentences में दो टाइप से कह दिया. Like the two sentences have the same meaning. दोनों sentences का same ही meaning है. However, the second sentence has an extra preposition to. Second sentence में क्या है? एक extra preposition आ गई आपकी to. So if we ask a question, what did I give Priya? The answer is a pen. So in the sentence 1, sentence I is the first subject. Sentence I क्या subject है? Priya क्या है आपका? Another person है. Pen क्या है आपका? Thing है. So sometimes the subject of a sentence does something to another person. कभी कभी क्या होता है sentence जो होता है subject जो होता है sentence का वो कुछ करता है person और thing के लिए. The person or thing that subject does something to is called the object. The person or thing जो subject करता है उसको क्या कहते हैं? किसी चीज के लिए जो करता है उसको हम object कहते हैं. Like we can also say that object refers to the person or thing. हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि object किससे refer करता है person से या thing से जो receive correction को done by the subject. Carefully read the subject, verb and object. This is a subject, verb and object. So subject क्या आपका I, verb क्या आपका am eating, object क्या आपका chocolate. I am eating a chocolate. She is reading a story. The lady is holding the baby. The old man crossed the road. We have made a robot. You have forgotten your book. I am writing a story. They visited the Apu Ghar. We were playing chess. John is flying a kite. So here, आज subject क्या है? I, she मतलब जो कर रहा है. Verb क्या है? जो चीज हो रही है. Object क्या है? जो क्या मतलब किस चीज के रिगार्डिंग किस चीज को कुछ चीज हुई है. Like अब chocolate, a story, the baby, the road and many other. Some verbs takes play object and some do not. कुछ verbs object लेती है और कुछ नहीं लेती. Verbs such as may, hold, buy in the following sentence take object. जो make हो गया, hold हो गया, buy हो गया, वो क्या ले रही है? Object तो ले रही है. Priya is making the tea. Held Shweta's hand. I will buy the present. So here is making, held and buy क्या है आपका? Verbs हैं. Words in color prints are verbs and words in italics are objects. Now verbs such as arrive, sleep, cry in the following sentence do not take object. जो verbs जैसे आपके arrive हो गया, sleep, cry हो गया, ये object नहीं ले रहे. When did you arrive? She is sleeping on the sofa. Do not cry. So some verbs can take two objects. कभी कभी कोई verb two objects ले लेते हैं. Look at these sentences with the verb Monu gave Mayank some money. So यहाँ पे क्या है? Mayank क्या है? Indirect object है. मनी क्या है आपका? डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है. मनी किसको दिया जा रहा है? मयंक को ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई ही इज द इनडायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट. व्हाट सोनू गिव इज मनी. सो मनी क्या है आपका? डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट है वर्ब का. देयर इज अनदर ऑब्जेक्ट मयंक. मयंक क्या है? मयंक इज द पर्सन दैट सोनू गिव्स मनी टू. मयंक इज द इनडायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट of the verb. Here are some examples of the verb that takes two objects. So subject, verb, indirect object and direct object. Priya is showing Shweta her photographs. So Shweta क्या है आपका? Indirect object है. अब direct क्या है आपका? Her photographs. He gave Mary a chocolate. So Mary is the indirect object. A chocolate is the direct object. She read the children a story. So the children is the indirect object. A story is the direct object. जो चीज हो रही है वो क्या है आपका? Direct object होता है. और जिसके लिए हो रही है that is the indirect object. I bought my cat a fish. Aunt Rekha sent me a watch. Miss Jane is teaching the children English grammar. The teacher asked Roman a question. I have brought you some flowers. The guide showed them the way. I will write Uncle Joe a letter. The servant got us some food. Mom has baked us a big cake. So these are all your indirect objects. These are your verbs. This is the subject and this is the direct ऑब्जेक्ट. जो चीज हो रही है, जो चीज शो करेगी ये चीज हो रही है, दैट इज वर्ब. जिसके लिए हो रही है दैट इज द डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट. जिसके जो चीज हो रही है वो है डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट. जिसके लिए हो रही है दैट इज द इनडायरेक्ट. इन द सेंटेंस द इनडायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट कम्स बिफोर द डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट. जो इनडायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट आता है पहले आता है डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट से. वो हमेशा इंपॉर्टेंट. वी कैन फाइंड द डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट बाय आस्किंग व्हाट आफ्टर द वर्ब. हम डायरेक्ट ऑब्जेक्ट कैसे फाइंड कर सकते हैं? व्हाट लगा के वर्ब के बाद. Like we can find the indirect object by asking who is the receiver. Indirect object कैसे find कर सकते हैं कि receiver कौन है, who is the receiver. So that's all for this lesson. I hope you all like the explanation of this lesson. Thank you and have a good day.